Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of General Geekery. With me, as always, is JD.
Hello. It's been a while, but I wanted the podcast, so we are.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy with work and school, so I haven't had a lot of free time. And then if I'm not doing work or school, I've been customizing. I've got a shit ton of customs done, and I got a shit ton of customs in progress. So,
And as always, I'm picking away at customs and finishing them and taking forever to get around to photographing them.
as always, I think
Yes.
I counted. And I got 52 figures, 52 customs done last year. I don't think I'm going to hit that mark, but I'm going to come pretty close. And if I got all my work in progress is done before the end of the year, I might tie that number, but that isn't going to happen because I need a bunch of stuff, and it's just got to wait until next month. So,
Well, how you doing on the viewer invitational challenge?
have not even started.
A couple weeks ago, I texted Brian. I'm like, hey, I figured out which holiday I'm going to do at least. That was all the progress I'd made. And as of the other night, I actually started working on something. But I listened to the episode that we did to explain it, looking for what did we put down for the exact parameters.
They were very generalized.
Yes, but there was one aspect that we never even, I don't think it ever occurred to us to because I thought, the project I picked, I'm like, does this go against the rules? So I listened to the episode. I'm like, no, we never made a statement one way or the other about anything in particular. I kept saying custom, and then you would say figure, and then I would say figure, and I'm like,
Are you thinking vehicle?
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Why not? I see no reason not to. And we have had just to. I don't know if a lot of people are like really into this, but we have had someone already submit several figures for the challenge. So
because somebody that I know submitted stuff asked me, hey, what'd you think? And I'm like, I don't know. Brian didn't share them, so it'll be a surprise to me too.
yeah, I'm not sharing them to any. He sent them to me, and I'm not sharing them to anybody until the show.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to, but I'm like, dude, I wish I knew, but I haven't seen them. So, but yeah, in that episode, I'm like, we did not specify that it had to be a figure. We kept saying figure.
Yeah.
But that was unintentional. That was more because I don't normally do vehicle customs.
Nor do I. Although my Wolverine mech is sitting on the deck of my flag there, and
you do
two vehicle customs this year, which is I don't remember the last time I did a vehicle custom.
Probably that ferret and the Wolverine.
Yeah, probably my Seeker Sky Striker customs, which were 5 or 6 years ago.
Hi, sweetie. So yeah, because I don't normally do vehicle customs because for one, I don't have a lot of vehicles, and for two, I don't tend to finish them.
Yeah, that's my big problem.
So, and sometimes I just lose patience with it, like I do for all customs. But in this case, I couldn't come up with a figure, even though I picked the holiday. I could not come up with a figure. And one day I was looking at stuff that I had, and I'm like, I wonder if I could do that. So I listened to the episode. I'm like, nah, we never said we couldn't do a play set. Or I think what it is we just usually do figures.
Right.
So it never occurred to me to mention anything else. But I mean, honestly, here, I'm just going to put it out there. If somebody wants to participate and they don't want to make a figure, but they want to make a vehicle or a play set or a diorama or draw a picture or make a Lego creation.
Sure, why not?
I don't care.
We just want to get kind of viewer participation. I think this one's going to be hard because it's towards the end of the year and everybody's got a lot going on towards the end of the year with the holidays. So
Yeah.
we may do something next year, middle of the year too. So
Well, it is a test run for us. We did just have the idea a couple months ago, and we gave and I'm real glad that we gave it kind of a long gestation period, because
yeah.
I spent the first 6 weeks with nothing, no ideas, no holiday, no direction at all, no subject matter. And I only just started doing this thing the other night, and I'm like, well, it looks good in my head. Hopefully it won't turn out like crap, but we'll see.
I did buy the figure that I needed the head for. It came with came in a set that I needed the head off the other figure for another custom. So I do have the head that I need, but I'm going to use a Marauder buck for the a blank buck as the base. So I still need to order the figure, but I need like 6 other Marauder figures for customs too. So I need to make like a huge Marauder order next month.
I I'm not gonna say anything, but I just got back from the movie theater. I went to go see Spider-Man.
We were going to go tonight, but it's the theater we normally go to. The only 2 seats together were like second row off to the side, and I was like, nah. And then the other theater we go to, they didn't have any seats together. So
weird, because I mean, I know I live in a much smaller town than you do, but I always think of sellout theaters being in the big places like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. It never occurs to me that people live places where they can't just go to the theater and buy a ticket for the next showtime.
If I wanted to go by myself, I could.
Yeah, but the
and this is like the one that has the seats that are 2 together, but they're way off to the side. This is the Dolby Theater. They still had tickets for like the regular theater, but both of us were like, nah, we'll wait till next week. So we're gonna go next weekend.
You nuts. Go see it again with the Dolby sound after everybody else has already go see the movie.
I have no interest in seeing it in the theater twice. There's like 3 other movies coming out this month that I want to see. I don't have the time to go see it twice in the theater.
So skip the Dolby and go see the movie.
I don't want to skip the Dolby Theater.
I don't know. My ears aren't that discerning and my eyes aren't that discerning, and I don't care that much. I couldn't tell you Dolby sound versus regular quality theater sound.
Well, and it's reserved seating, and it's the seating that has like the reclines, and so I mean it's really nice, and it's like that's where I will wait. I'm not in a hurry to see this, so I will see it next weekend, and then try and wedge in the other. I know 2 other movies for sure. The new Kingsman movie's coming out. The second Kingsman movie sucked ass, but this one that's coming out looks pretty good. And
I haven't seen either of them.
The first one was fantastic. I love the first one.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
It's worth watching. The second one, don't bother. But the third one looks pretty good. And then the movie that nobody asked for and nobody wanted, but somehow looks absolutely fantastic, and that's the 4th Matrix movie. Is coming out this month, and it looks amazing. So it looks like the storyline looks interesting, and the cinematography was groundbreaking when it first came out, and it looks like they're still cutting edge, trying to push the envelope of the photography. So I'm all about the Matrix movie. The second one I was okay, but I absolutely hated the third one. But this one, it's like the movie that nobody asked for, but didn't know we needed. It looks great. I'm looking forward to it.
I will probably go see it. I actually liked the third movie way back in the day. I have very little memory of the second movie. But I actually liked the third one. And yeah, you're right. Not a movie anybody needed, but maybe I'll go see it.
And it seems like there's something else coming out, but I don't remember what that we wanted to see. But I don't remember Spider-Man, Matrix, and Kingsman, and maybe it was Ghostbusters because we went to see that last week.
Yeah, that either.
Fantastic! I really enjoyed it.
I'm not that big a Ghostbusters fan. Like I like the first movie. It's really funny. And I like the 2016 movie because we took the kids and
did not see the 2016. Emily went to see it. I told her you're going to go see that on your own because I had no interest in that.
Well, I saw it and I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't as good as the first, but there was a lot of hate for no reason on it. The second one I find to be a completely unwatchable movie.
Yeah, it's definitely dry in spots, but there's a lot of it that I really enjoy.
Well,
I got to be in the mood to watch it. I'll watch the first one anytime. I've seen that probably as many times as I've seen Star Wars.
Well, because my friend Chad likes the second Ghostbusters more than the first. And I got another friend that likes the second one right up until the Statue of Liberty starts walking around.
See, I got a kick out of that.
And I never even got that far into that movie. So before I'm just like, nope. And
I'm actually working on Ghostbusters 3 3/4 inch 1/18 scale Ghostbusters customs right now.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, I actually have them right
here,
so I can show you. The painting's pretty much done. So there is Ray Stantz. I have decals coming instead of making my own.
That's Dan Aykroyd, right?
Yeah. And then I haven't started working on the packs yet. I'm going to do a little bit of sculpting and then a lot of painting on them. And
Where
then
did you get the packs?
They are from the Afterlife figures from the new movie.
Yeah, I didn't know they made.
They're not 1/18 scale. They are a little big, but just I've done a lot of like photo research. They're not that out of scale. Oh, so they're actually pretty much in scale. And I started doing a little sculpting on him on that back.
I don't think I knew that they made movie figures for the new one.
The only reason I know about it is because they have an Ecto 1 that's almost 1/18 scale, and I considered getting it because it's only $40, but I don't.
Who makes them? I don't
know. I don't remember. I threw all the stuff away.
Weird.
I only bought them for the proton packs.
That's weird. Yeah.
Some Playmobil has some stuff too, and I bought a couple cheap sets to get a couple of the accessories that they used in the movie. So like the ghost traps and then the PKE meter. I've got
the only Ghostbusters toys I've seen are when we went shopping when I was there back in October, and they had that like the 5 POA cartoony looking line.
Yeah.
Those are the last Ghostbuster toys I've seen in the store. So I didn't even know they made toys for the new movie.
Yeah, I don't know what scale they are. I don't know that they are a scale necessarily, but they're bigger than Joe, but they're smaller than Marvel Universe or Marvel Legends. So they don't really fit in with anything, but the proton packs are close enough for 1/18 scale that they do work.
No, but that's why is it that cartoony line that we're talking about? Is that where
I don't know.
Huh. Weird.
I just know it's the Afterlife movie. I got on Amazon. I found the figure that nobody wanted, and I bought 4 of them because it was $10.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they're like trying to give these things away, and I bought all 4 of them because it's like, the least popular character, and I'm like, I just need the proton pack. So $10 for a proton pack was fine.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
I added.
Did Bill Murray lose his head?
No, Dan Aykroyd did. I put magnets in them, so the packs magnetized to the figure.
That's cool.
And they're sculpted over on the back, so you can't see the magnet.
Yeah, good work.
So you would never know there's a magnet in there between the harness and the sculpting.
So Well, because I know you've done all the heads because you sent me the pictures of the heads, but
Yeah, I still
did
need
you?
to do the left eye on Egon, but he's done. And then I need to touch up the mustache on Winston, but he's pretty much done too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you just need the bodies for Egon and Winston.
Yeah, but it's I need two separate figures to make the one figure.
Yeah, well,
So,
that's how it
yeah, so it's an expensive order, so I'm just gonna wait till probably, I don't know, I might order it before the end of the year just to see if I get him done before Christmas, or I might just wait till next year. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Well, we did both go see the Eternals.
Yes.
That was good. I really liked that. I didn't know what an Eternal was. I
enjoyed it, but it was, I never followed the Eternals comic book. I was never into that, like the galactic.
Neither was I. I never was. I didn't read.
So I was not vested at all. So I mean, it was enjoyable. We had a good time. I didn't hate it.
I didn't read the Cosmic Marvel stuff growing up. I will say, what little I know, no, even though I knew nothing about Eternals before I went to go see this movie, or before we saw the advertising for this movie when Marvel announced it, Jack Kirby's fingerprints are all over this thing.
Yeah,
there is no question that the Eternals were, at least in part, Jack Kirby's creations.
Jack Kirby's creation. Yeah. I remember right.
No, I mean, I don't know if they were he was the sole brainchild behind it.
Most of that stuff he was.
Yeah, because like he had the New Gods over at DC, and it's the same, I don't know if they're the same type of property, but that's what it reminds me of. They're very ethereal, very cosmic, very outlandish. And I just, in comic book form, like I like watching movies about that stuff, but in comic book form, it just never appealed to me.
No, and it was worth going to see the post-credit trailer. Do we want to do spoiler alert for that?
For the Eternals? Yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, the post trailer with what is eventually going to be the Black Knight, and then the voice in the background was Blade. So the Blade movie will be coming soon.
Really?
Yes.
I wondered who said that when he's like, "Are you sure you want to?" Wait, what he's? Because the box opened. The Dane Whitman opens the box, and we see the ebony power blade sword, and I was wanting him to pick it up, and he sort of looks at it because, like, his family name is inscribed on the side of this, or on this box, and this box is like real elaborate. It's a wooden box. You can tell it's been in the family for
generations.
Yeah. So, but he opens the box. He doesn't reach in to get it. He just sort of looks at it. You can see the sword shines, but it's clearly his sword from the comics. And somebody in the background comes in and says, "Are you," something to the effect of, "Are you sure you want to pick that up?" And I was like, and of course, you know, they cut the thing off there, and it goes to the rest of the. I'm like, who was that? Damn it, who was that? So I didn't realize it was Blade. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
The first post credit
to Moon Knight. I think they're doing that TV show though.
Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah.
I've read a few Moon Knight comics over the years. It's fine. I have
read
no
a little bit when
feelings.
I was collecting, but he crossed over with the Punisher a lot when I was collecting.
Yeah,
Punisher. That's how I know him. So
I read a couple of his, like, I had a graphic novel a couple years ago, 2 of his stories, and it's pretty good for what it is. I'm not a huge fan. I do like his suit. He's really cool looking. The Eternals, I don't know who these characters were, but I want to see more of them. And I did like that they always put at the end, the Eternals will return, which is good, because the way they left the movie off, where the Eternals basically, instead of creating a new Celestial, they killed it before it could, pissed off the Elder Celestial. And he basically called them all to space and said, I'll let all the people on the planet live because you made the sacrifice to save them, but oh, you all are going to pay for that.
Yeah, I'm looking to see where they go with that.
Yeah, because two of the Eternals, no, three of the Eternals in the movie died on screen. And then they were sort of split up. The party was split a little bit. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the further adventures of those, because the characters I really liked were the characters that made it. So I'm like, all right, sweet. There were no heartbreaking Coulson style deaths on there.
Right.
But I didn't realize it was Blade, so I didn't realize that's what they were teasing there. I figured it was going to be another character, because Black Knight, Dane Whitman is not the only swords and sorcery medieval armored character Marvel has, so I figured it was somebody else from his corner. So it's Blade. Interesting.
Yeah, no, I figured that too, but I had to do a little bit of research, and they said they named who the voice was, and that particular person has been already cast as Blade. So
now the first,
they're gonna work that out.
The mid credit sequence with Pip the Troll and
Star Fox,
that did nothing for me.
That was cringeworthy for me.
I like Patton Oswalt. I'm a big fan.
I hate Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, see, I love that guy, but I was thrown off because he already played an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nah.
So I did not expect him in this movie doing the voice work. And I only vaguely know of Star Fox, but
I'm not a fan.
The character that they put on screen, I'm just like, oh, wait, am I supposed to care about him? Because I don't so far. Yeah, Pip the Troll, I'm like, that's really stupid. Because here we go, we got all these cool Eternals characters that I just got invested in, and then they bring these two doofuses in, and I'm just like, all right, stop messing up my Eternals movie with this nonsense.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of on the same page with that.
I did. I haven't seen a lot of, like, I think there was like a composite trailer for the Marvel stuff that they're putting on Disney Plus. Like, there was the art for Nick Fury and for Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to come out.
Yeah, see, that's kind of my thing, is a lot of the trailers and stuff, I'll usually watch a first trailer that comes out, but like when they do like the teases and things like that, I don't tend to watch that stuff because I don't, especially when it's really this early on, I don't need to watch that stuff because I'm going to forget about it before the movie comes out.
Right. And I was going to mention some of the TV shows. Let's see, because we had talked about, we had a guest on, we were talking about Why the Last Man, which was a particular favorite comic book of mine, and the show absolutely sucked. It was horrible. I rarely don't finish a series. I didn't finish this series.
And you didn't finish it, not because it was canceled before the second, not because they only gave it one season. You just didn't finish it because it was just terrible.
I did not finish it for all the reasons that you do not finish a show. I was not invested in any of the characters. Everybody was a horrible person. And there's one other one that you usually give for not finishing a series, and it's like Emily and I both were like, this is what JD's talking about.
When I'll say, because I'll say, I'm not invested. Everybody's an asshole. They're all terrible. And frankly, I can't find anybody to, I can't even find one character to connect, because sometimes I can watch a show that I'm not liking, but there'll be one or two characters that will keep me going. And in this case, I got to that point with The Boys, which I never expected to start watching. And I got into the second season.
Soon. I'm looking forward to that because I'm a huge The Boys fan.
I got into the second season and I'm just like, okay, so it's the first season, only more of it. And God damn it, I hate these characters so much. Yeah. Even Carl Urban, which he can usually get me to watch anything because that guy can play any role.
Yeah, he can.
And he can make.
My dogs are going crazy. Somebody must be delivering a package.
Yeah.
That's Izzy.
I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say that's. They're not all there, but.
Let's see. The other one that got talking about canceled before the series even finished was Cowboy Bebop. I know a lot of people are not fans of, not interested in watching that because they're huge fans of the anime. I've never seen the anime, so I was not vested in that. I watched. Yes.
Lunch is here.
Okay.
It'll be upstairs.
All right. I watched Cowboy Bebop and I enjoyed every minute of it. I thought it was a fantastic show. I thought they did a good job. The storytelling, world building was awesome. The characters were great. Like all the reasons that you give for quitting a series, none of those were there.
Well, and I intend to watch it.
I'm highly disappointed that it got canceled. And all you people that like this is garbage because it's not what I grew up on, it can go fuck yourselves. Because
I agree with that. I've never seen the anime. Whatever. It's fine. I do intend to watch it because the magic words are bounty hunters.
Yeah.
I will watch any series with bounty hunters of any kind in it, but I just haven't gotten there yet. So, because a couple months ago, Brian was telling me about SEAL Team, which I started watching. That had me hooked for like 3 weeks. I watched the first three seasons and then I got into the fourth season and I realized that the fourth season was the second to last season available on Amazon because the fifth season is still in progress. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to slow down before I catch up to the show. And then I have to wait until May to finish the current season. So
yeah, I'm halfway through the second season right now.
I got into that hardcore real fast. And I'm like, okay, I need to get, because I love watching it. I love starting a series that's already got a few seasons under its belt, but I don't like when it's so good that I binge watch it, blow through it, and then realize that, there's
no more.
I'm current. Yeah. So I'm 3 episodes into season 4 and I stopped for now. Give myself a chance to watch something else for a little bit before I blow through the rest of it.
The other one that's out right now, we're watching Hawkeye, which I really like. The pizza came, so that's what the dogs were barking at. I can't leave pizza sitting around.
So
yeah, we're watching Hawkeye right now. I haven't seen the latest episode, but other than that, we're pretty much caught up.
I have watched the latest episode 3 times. I very rarely rewatch an episode when the show's still going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched it 3 times. And I'll probably watch it again before the final episode. You know, at first, I was annoyed that the final episode, because it's only the 6 episodes, was happening, was next week. But I'm like, oh, you know what? they're going to spin these characters off into other things. Echo's already planning. They're already planning a series for Echo. So it's cool because I know they're going to tie. Marvel's going to do what Marvel does, and they're going to do a thing. They're going to make a thing, but they're going to transition all these other things because they've always got all these plans in motion. So anything that doesn't have immediate consequences, they're going to end up pushing to other things too.
Although I think this is the last thing Jeremy Renner is going to do for Marvel, from my understanding.
We'll see. It could change. He could change his mind. But even if this is the last of Hawkeye, it won't be the last of these characters, most of these characters. So I never expected not to like the show, but I am surprised at how much I like the show. Although I did read the comics that inspired part of it, not all of it.
Some of it. I see that Matt Fraction is one of the creative consultants on it.
Yeah, because I read, because his run on Hawkeye was Matt Fraction and Kelly Sue DeConnick. I think they're married. I did read that run a few years ago because I had heard some good press about it. The library had it, so I checked it out, and it was good. And none of these Marvel shows or movies are always based on one particular source material, but they take a lot of influence, and the influence from that particular run of the comic is really well done. Right, bro? Right, bro. But it's really good. Really, really, really good. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything. It's still going on.
And the other thing I want to mention before I forget is, let me swallow because kind of in sad news is that George Perez, a very prolific comic book artist, put out a press release last week saying that he was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. As a medical professional, I can tell you pancreatic cancer is horrible, and you don't live long no matter if you get treatment or not. He's decided not to get treatment, and they've given him like 4 to 6 months to live.
Yeah, because he said, because in the statement they say that the tumor is inoperable, and in order to treat it with chemo or radiation, he's weighed the amount of time that he has left with how much, and not treating it versus how much of that time he has left would be taken up by medical appointments and doctor and seeing doctor after doctor. And he said he feels like he's going to lose too much time with his family and the people who matter if he spends half of his remaining time at the doctors when they can't do anything anyways. So
I met and I'm really sad to see that because I met him once at the first Comic-Con that I ever went to. He did a couple issues of Iron Man, and I brought those comic books up for him to autograph. He kind of looked at me. He's like, I didn't think anybody knew I had done issues of Iron Man. I'm like, I knew. And he was just ecstatic that, I knew that he had done this short run on Iron Man. And he signed him, and he's like, do you want pictures? I'm like, sure, yeah, why not? So he got out from behind the table, came over, gave me this big hug, and we're both holding on to the comic book. And he was just fantastic and just super happy to see everybody.
Because that was a nice picture that you posted with him.
Yes.
So what happened how long was his run and what happened in those issues? Not a whole plot summary. I'm just curious.
I think it was 101 to 103, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back and look.
It was a short run.
Yeah.
Was it just a story arc?
If I remember right, he fought the chessman, but I don't remember right off the top of my head.
Who the fuck is the chessman?
Rich. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know if those were.
Marvel's got a lot of characters they've created that.
Well, and they reused
briefly
because
and then
eventually the chessmen became, for lack of a better term, they became pawns for Obadiah Stane.
Yeah.
So I don't know, early on if they were Obadiah Stane's like henchmen, but eventually they do become Obadiah Stane's henchmen.
I suppose there's a chance chessmen or the chessmen or the pawns or whoever the hell they are, they'll probably pop up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe thing at some point.
Count on it.
I wouldn't have thought that the swordsman would, and then he did. The Hawkeye series is really well done.
And then the Book of Boba Fett's starting pretty soon too.
Yeah. The end of December. 7-episode series. Well, as far as we know, 7 episodes. And YouTube keeps popping up these new little minute-long, whatever they are. There's a lot of repeated footage. It's gotten to the point where I
don't want to see it.
Well, I watched the trailer for the show, and I watched 2 of those TV spots, but I've been skipping the rest of them because there's a lot of repeat footage, and I just, you know what, I'm at the point where I'm just like, God damn, just give me the show. I don't need to keep watching it. Just give me the show. I am looking forward to seeing what they do with that, because that episode that Robert Rodriguez did of The Mandalorian in the 2nd season, when Boba Fett made a huge comeback, finally we got to see Boba Fett be the Boba Fett that had been established in the expanded universe for years, that we never got to see on screen. Because when Brian and I were growing up, we would read Star Wars stuff, and Boba Fett was a huge deal.
Yeah.
But that's because everybody liked the armor, and he looked so cool on screen that people took that and ran with it. And Boba Fett gained a whole dimension through the expanded universe that he simply didn't have on screen, because he was a guy that looked really cool, said 4 lines, and died screaming like a banshee going into a pit. See, when the prequels came along, and Jango Fett, his clone father, or his father, which was Boba Fett was a clone, but when Jango was introduced, and we got to see him fight one-on-one with Obi-Wan Kenobi and use all the tricks and the gadgets, I'm like, see, this is what we never got to see Boba Fett do on screen. And then the Clone Wars came along, and they introduced Cad Bane, who was a Duros bounty hunter, and it was the same thing. We got to see him use all the tricks and be a badass, wicked cool bounty hunter, and he displaced Jango Fett, in my mind, as my favorite bounty hunter, although Jango Fett still remained my number 2 bounty hunter, because they were just cooler because we never got to see Boba Fett do anything until this particular episode of The Mandalorian last season, and Boba Fett comes back to reclaim his armor, and oh wow, cool, we got to see him do all of the things, and then we got to see him fly the ship, and then we get to see him spin off into his own show. So really looking forward to that. If you do watch the trailers, there's some guys wearing red with like silver armor, and it's been pointed out that they look like night creepers from G.I. Joe, and they really do. There's got to be some kind of influence there. I don't think it's a coincidence, accidental, because Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, they both like their obscure characters and their trivia and their little nods at various everythings. Yeah, one of them's probably a Night Creeper fan, so they're probably like, ooh. Not based on, but definitely you can see the resemblance. It's pretty cool.
All right, hang on a sec here. I gotta pause it again. All right, I have to trim some of this out of here later. All right, so yeah, Book of Boba Fett's coming out, which kind of leads me to one of the other things I was going to talk about, which is new toys that are coming out. Usually try and keep it to like 3 3/4 inch 1/18 scale stuff. So there are a couple deluxe figures for the Book of Boba Fett coming out. Big Bad Toy Store has them up for has one of them up for pre-order. Looks like maybe the other one. No, they're both up. Fennec Shand, the gal, and a Boba Fett. And I did pre-order both of those.
I did not. But then pre-order Star Wars stuff. There's too much of it. I can't keep up with it.
I'm just picking and choosing. I'm only picking and choosing the stuff that like really catches my eye.
I will actually the last couple Star Wars figures I got were Ewoks. Because
I got one of the Scout Troopers and then another one of the, it's like a black stormtrooper with an electro staff. I don't remember what it was called. I think it's from one of the games recently.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's from one of the games, the Gaming Greats line. Yeah, because I got Tebow the Ewok, and I got Papu the Ewok. Somewhere else. Papu is my favorite Ewok. He's the one that stole the speeder bike in Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I love Ewoks. I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff I'd like to buy, but I don't necessarily buy it. But Ewoks, I don't have them all. I wish I did. I went on eBay looking for more Ewoks, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
for a bunch of creatures that people of our generation generally hate, yeah, like all the other Star Wars stuff, they're expensive as all get out. I'm like, I am not paying $30 for one damn Ewok.
Ridiculous. Let's see what else we got coming out. Hiya Toys. I don't know that you will be particularly interested, JD, but I know like people like Jimbo are all over this. Hiya Toys is doing a Judge Dredd series. And they have 2 figures up for pre-order right now. Again, I'm pre-ordering them through Big Bad Toy Store. I'm sure you can get them through online through any e-tailer. Right now they have up a Judge Dredd and Judge Death, which looks fantastic. And my understanding is they may be doing, I think the Judge Dredd is comic accurate, and they may be doing a Judge Dredd that will be how he looked in the Stallone movie and one for the Carl Urban movie. I'm not positive on that. Don't quote me on that. And I know they're doing a bunch of the other judges too.
Judge Dredd, that's not my bag. They do look cool, but I'm like, yeah, no. I have started to buy, took a while, but I got around to some of the Joy Toy stuff. Again, I'm not going to buy much of it because it's expensive and there's a whole lot of it.
Which was going to segment into my next thing, but go ahead.
But like some of the space guys, I like those guys. I did get one to customize. Yeah, I got a couple of them just out of curiosity. I did order from Locker Toys based on your recommendations from all your videos, and apparently last month was not the best time to order from them because they got stuck in customs or something.
I had an order get stuck in customs last month too.
Yeah, it took me 3 weeks to get them. I wasn't particularly hung up on it because it's not like I needed them in a hurry, but I'm like, yeah, this is the wrong time to order. After the holidays, I'll probably make another order and see if I can get it closer to the wait time that there used to be versus, between Thanksgiving, Christmas. So.
Yeah, no, I just recently got the new Navy SEAL figure set, and it is fantastic. I love it. Love it.
You didn't do a video. You did videos on a couple of individual SEALs, right?
Yeah, They are sold as individuals, but I bought all 3 of them together, I should say.
Oh, I thought you meant there was another set.
Mm-mm.
Like how they've got those 5 and 6 figure sets.
No, it's 3 individual figures. They've got a bunch of stuff coming out. They've got a mercenary squad coming out. They've got kind of like I don't know how to describe. They've got a bunch of stuff coming out, and they've had mechs all year long. And I have not gotten any of the mechs. Just I don't need a bunch of mechs. I would like a bunch of mechs, but I just don't need them. But I think what a lot of people are going for right now, and again, this is has not been in my wheelhouse, and it's probably not in yours either, but people like Panama are going crazy for this. They're doing 1/18 scale Warhammer 40K figures.
Panama posted some of those pictures today.
He did.
To which he captioned, "Oh, my poor wallet," or something to the effect. Yeah, because McFarlane is doing a 7-inch line of the Warhammer stuff, and that's selling like crazy. But yeah, now
neither one of us are tabletop gamers, so I think that's.
I don't.
Well, you do D&D, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I take that back. I am not a tabletop gamer.
I play D&D, although now we play it over Zoom, so I don't need it. Although I did last campaign I was in, I did do a couple of 4-inch scale customs.
I did one for you.
So I did do, I did do like an action figure, because Sean did some of the party and I did some of the party. Warhammer is not, they always look cool, but it's not a thing I ever got into. But yeah, Panama posted pictures of the 4-inch line coming out, and I'm like, oh, those are cool. It makes me wish that I was into them, but
see, and I asked Panama, I'm like, I don't know anything about this. Where do I start? And he sent me a link to a video, which segments into a second video. They're about an hour long each. That is like, so you don't know anything about Warhammer 40K. Here's a video to tell you about the basic factions. And I've watched both videos, and I'm still in the middle of the second one, but
it's really for me, I don't necessarily need to know about a property, because if the toys are cool, I usually get them. Look, for me, I buy a bunch of Fortnite stuff. I've never played Fortnite. I don't intend to play Fortnite. I'm not a gamer. I can't play games. I suck at them, and I don't want to play games. I love the Fortnite character designs, and that's why I buy the toys. If it's not a toy, I don't know anything about it. But I buy them without the context, because I really like the characters, and that's why.
Fair enough, but I wanted to know. I'm like, I want to know more about these, not just because.
Well, because the I look at the Warhammer stuff, and I'm like,
buy it, but I wanted to learn more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, God, I wish they had more appeal to me, because even if I didn't know the factions and the characters, I might still. No, I just can't get there. Some of the toy stuff I've gotten.
They've got two lines. They've got 2 waves of the Ultramarines. They're like blue, that are already out, and then they've got like a metallic gray and kind of gold and red called the Blood Angels, and I did pre-order that one. And then the ones that Panama posted today are Chaos Marines, and I learned what those are today, and I will probably pick those up because those look fantastic too.
I like them based on. I don't know that I would buy them. Maybe someday, maybe not right away. But they do appeal to me on one level. They look like heavy-duty Iron Grenadiers. And I'm like, I did briefly think, Destro does need some. No, I stopped myself right there. That was it. That was all the thought I gave it until this podcast right now. So,
Jimbo said that he got one off of eBay for a reasonable, just because they come in a 4-pack. So he said he got one off of eBay for a reasonable price.
I may at some point jump down that rabbit hole, but between Marauder orders,
I walked right up to the edge of it and I said, "Fuck it," and jumped in.
I mean, like you do. Sometimes you have to. Yeah, I'm done buying toys for the year, both for money reasons and because I'm overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I have. Plus, the holidays are coming up, and
Yeah,
not feeling the holidays. I don't care this year, but
I gotta work, so
um, but yeah, this is a. Just kind of wanted to do an episode because we haven't done one since Ben Conway was on. Before
yeah. And
that,
I've got
that
couple other before we get anything else. I got a couple
Yeah.
more other toy things.
yeah, no, go for it.
This is all GI Joe stuff, which is kind of more along our wheelhouse.
Oh, the Sky Striker. We should mention
no, coming to that.
book.
Coming to that. Not yet. Hang on. The Classified series. Of course, I am a huge Alley Viper fan, and I know a lot of people were worried that it was going to be an exclusive, and it's not. Probably everybody that's watching this already knows it. The Bat and Alley Viper are available for pre-order through pretty much any e-tailer, and they do not seem to be limiting quantities. So, because I saw somebody say that they pre-ordered 10 Bats and 10 Alley Vipers.
So army builder much then, I guess.
I pre-ordered 2 Alley Vipers. One to open and one to keep in the box. So
I ordered neither of them. So more for everybody else.
I will always buy Alley Vipers.
I will buy Alley Vipers when they repaint them in some other color scheme. Not because I hate the orange and blue. I don't. It's one of those color schemes that I got tired of over the years. I got tired of it. And I adopted, I took a liking to other Alley Vipers they made over the years more. Most of which they probably won't repaint. I mean, they will repaint. Of course they will. They're Hasbro. Of course they're going to repaint them at some point.
Probably.
Although not necessarily.
Yeah.
The Red Ninja, that fugly Red Ninja they made hasn't been repainted yet.
I love that Red Ninja. I love that stuff.
I loathe that Red Ninja.
I love it. And
I'm shocked.
I am like the like most supporters for the 6-inch GI Joe line are up here. I'm like down here. I'm like, I'll buy it maybe if I really, really like it. I really, really like that Red Ninja. I made a 4-inch one based off of it.
I did see a picture of a custom somebody made where they repainted the Red Ninja in the Night Creeper color scheme.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's beautiful. I'm like, oh, that fugly ass design
I love that design.
Works in the Night Creeper color scheme. I didn't like it as a Red Ninja, but I'm like, ooh, it works in with the purple and silver and the gray, the Night Creeper. I'm like, ooh, all right.
I'll keep an eye out for that custom. So that was kind of the classified news. Of course, everybody already knows that Spirit, the original Storm Shadow, a new Cobra Trooper, Crocmaster.
All of those I have pre-ordered.
I broke down and pre-ordered the set of 3 that it was like Storm Shadow and Spirit and somebody else.
The officer. Yeah, because I ordered the set of 3 and I ordered Crocmaster.
I'm not a big Crocmaster fan, although it looks fantastic.
I love it. I love it. I'm not a huge fan of the character, but I love it. I love it so. Well, you saw the list of the confirmed figures for next year, right? With all the code names. So I'm annoyed that they're making Serana without Xandar. Whatever, I'm still gonna buy it, but it's annoying.
I would assume Xandar's in the pipeline then.
I hope so, because even his file card said he's the forgotten sibling, and he usually is when it comes to the toy line. But it is weird. A lot of people are annoyed that they're selling the Crimson Twins individually. I'd get annoyed if I cared about the Crimson Twins, but I don't. So they're infinitely skippable toys to me. I don't care.
I had them as a kid, but they just got beat up a lot.
I had them when I was a kid, and in the cartoon, I found the gimmick with them finishing each other's sentences to be charming. As an adult, I do not find it to be charming. I find myself wanting Sergeant Slaughter to beat the shit out of them every time they pop up on screen. And if they can't, well, I don't care. Let them get run over by mores or something. I don't care.
And then the other piece of GI Joe news, a lot of people are not into this, and it doesn't surprise me. Is Super 7, the reaction line is coming out with. They've just announced the second wave of GI Joe reaction figures, which have. Actually, there's like 3 separate waves because I think they're doing like a flag crew. So there's like sailors, and there's like 4 different ones in the set, and then they've announced the second wave of the reaction GI Joe figures. They are 5 points of articulation, and they're $17 a piece, $18 a piece.
Yes.
All the reaction,
They are.
all of Super 7's reaction stuff is insanely expensive. I wanted to get the Kiss figures for the guitars because I needed. I was working on Van Halen Clone Troopers at one point in time, and I needed guitars, 1/18 scale guitars. I wasn't gonna pay $20 for a shitty piece of plastic.
I'm not. The Funko, like the reaction stuff, the Super 7 reaction, it was Funko before. Now they're their own company, but I don't like the 5 points for articulate, not because I'm pro articulation. I find it sad with the reaction line that we're getting some super obscure looking characters like those Cobra Commandos. I didn't know what they were. Well, Fred Meyer said that he thought they were from the Sunbow cartoon.
They are.
And then
they're doing like Game Master too.
Yeah, well, because there's another guy, Daniel, somebody or another. He linked me to a blog over at Joe a Day. It was a review written by a guy named Past Nastification, where he showcased a bunch of obscure Sunbow characters that had never gotten toys. Well, and this blog was posted years ago, but those Cobra Commandos that we can briefly see up in space on the Cobra space station were on that list, and now we're getting toys of them. And I'm like, oh, they're really super awesome. I wish that they would fit in better with the rest of my Joes, but they're so obscure, and it's so interesting that Super 7 has decided to go with such a deep cut figure that I'm like, I might end up getting one. And you're right,
am pro articulation.
Because they made the Game Master drone, and the body mostly looks like a snow serpent, but he's got the clown face. Now, I'm not going to buy it because it's a clown. I'm not afraid of clowns, but they're stupid, and I don't want toys of them. But that does mean that they'll make a Game Master at some point. And
it's up for pre-order right now. Oh no!
I didn't.
No,
see, I didn't see that the Game Master was already up.
It's not.
I only saw the drone yesterday.
Yeah, it's just the drone. It's not the Game Master. It's just
I saw, but that does mean that they'll put out a Game Master at some point. And
yeah, I would think so.
So I will say this about the Super 7 line: they're not necessarily my style.
I detest them.
Well, but I have to admire the fact that they're not doing all straightforward, predictable releases. There are some.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to do Snake Eye, Scarlet, Lady J, Duke, Cobra Commander, Baroness, Destro. Of course, they're going to do those.
Yeah.
But I love that they're doing crazy shit like the Commando or the green shirts, which is not a concept I'm a big fan
of. Green shirts and the
G.I.
sailors. That was the other one.
But yeah, and the sailors. And I'm not, but I do like that they're doing obscure characters too. Like, instead of doing a bazooka, they're giving us the winter coat bazooka. I don't like the character. Fuck bazooka. I hate that character. But
I'm not a big fan of bazooka either.
I like the fact that they're going with an unobvious version of the character for the toy release.
It's funny. Now that you mention that, the one thing that pisses me off about bazooka is the 25th anniversary figure. It's a bigger buck, and that's the only time to use that figure. That only time to use that buck.
They used it more than that. Red Dog used that buck. The from the BBTS 7-pack.
Really? I'll have to double check you on that because I think that's a different buck.
Yeah, I think it used his.
I don't think that it is. And even if it is one other figure in all of the 25th anniversary line and 30 and 50, that's and it's a decent buck. I like that figure. It's a bigger build, beefier build, and there's definitely time. I mean, and number one, first off, thank you to everybody that has helped me out on getting parts, including JD, getting parts for my customs. I got a lot of responses, and I am amazed at how much where I got the replies from, because normally I post in like trade groups to get the stuff that I need. All of the figures that I got came from a request on my customizing page. So number one, thank you everybody that follows my customizing page, puts likes and comments on that. I really appreciate that. And number two, thank you to everybody that has sent me parts for the customs that I'm doing, because all of the stuff that I got was from my customizing page. So,
well, I'm always happy to help, and I'm glad that I had one that I could donate to you.
Because currently I have a repeater in progress, which she just needs a Marauder part and some hands. My back blast is pretty much done. I'm just waiting on some vintage gear in the mail to finish him off. I have my Captain Gridiron pretty much done. I'm waiting to hear back from Bad Mother Tattoos, who I'd like to get on the show at some point in time to see if they'll do decals for me, because I can't do them. And I'm working on the fridge. I finished Salvo, and I have enough left, if I can get the legs from another guy, to do a Sergeant Slaughter custom, and they're all using that Roadblock book, and they are all donated through my customizing page. So thank you everybody for helping me out.
Wow,
really appreciate
that's cool. I'm looking up Bazooka. It's bugging me now. So when the hell year did that figure come out?
I don't know. I don't have my 25th.
Oh, here we go. All right, let's see. Let me see what other parts he. I swear Bazooka, 25th Bazooka is not the only release. I swear it's not the only release of those parts.
That beefier torso, man, that they did not put that out on another figure. I'm almost positive, because I've had to get that figure a couple of times for specific customs. I don't remember what they were off the top of my head, but it's a bigger buck than the regular like shirted 25th anniversary figures.
I swear it was. Bench press.
Maybe I could see bench press, maybe, because he was a Toys R Us exclusive.
Yeah, he was. He had he had Rock and Roll's file name, but he wasn't Rock and Roll, which is really stupid. Why not just make him Rock and Roll? I have no idea.
Or an original character.
That's what I mean. If you're gonna name him Bench Press, why not just give him his own file name? I have no idea. Really bugging me. My internet connection is slow. That's why this is. Let's see. Bazookas. Yeah, his torso was used for bench press and the Tiger Force Big Brawler from the convention set.
Yeah, I'm gonna say convention sets don't count.
No, they don't.
Very niche-y. But
I was gonna say, because they made the Tiger Force bazooka in the convention set too. But you're right, it doesn't really. Because those are so expensive, you're not gonna buy them for customs.
Yeah, I'm talking like retail stuff. So,
but yeah, you're right. It's weird. They didn't repaint bazooka for a retail release.
Nope.
And you're right. All the other uses, they were all exclusives. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, and it was
considering how many times they repainted some of those 25th guys. I'm surprised that Bazooka didn't get a more. And he's a popular character that I've
Well,
never.
I'm surprised they didn't use it
utilized.
on other builds. Not
Yeah,
just
that's what I mean.
specific.
Is I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I'm not sure why they limited an all new sculpt like that to one character.
Especially in a line where they did so many repaints. It did not get repainted or reused in the 25th anniversary line because bench press was part of the Rise of Cobra line.
Yeah, and it's weird because like Snow Job, his parts got used a lot in the 25th line and later.
Yeah, no, I mean that was mostly Wild Weasel. Yeah, his stuff I still use parts for. Still use.
Yeah,
it.
I do too.
I made my very first 25th anniversary style custom using those parts, and I made a Snow Serpent. But yeah, no, I thought that was I thought it was really weird that they never reused that buck. And okay, now we can get to the one that JD was alluding to, and that is first off, before we do that, the HasLab, let's just talk HasLab in general. So the 6-inch scale Rancor did not get funded.
No.
I don't know what to think about that. I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan where I would back a HasLab project because I really wanted to back the Razor Crest, but I just didn't have the money for it. And I am not a huge 6-inch fan to begin with. I have a couple 6-inch Star Wars figures. The only 6-inch figures that I buy on a regular basis are Iron Man figures, which, I mean, just come on, hello, it's me. So I'm kind of surprised it didn't get funded, but I'm kind of not surprised it didn't get funded. I don't know. What do you think?
For the price and what they were offering.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people were upset were tier goals.
It wasn't, and for me, well, I wouldn't have bought it no matter what. They could have. It wouldn't have mattered what they offered it with. I'm not gonna get it, but I like Rancors, but not that much. But the tier goals were, yeah, they were half-assed. At best. And really, once they started showing off the color prototypes, it was not that impressive for that kind of a price.
Yeah.
And in the last week, they tried to offer in a Rancor Keeper that would be included with it because they were trying to entice more people.
Right.
But I think at that point it was too late.
Yeah, too little, too late.
But a lot of the argument early on was, why isn't the Rancor Keeper in the initial offering? Because what else are you gonna, if they're gonna make that figure, when else would they make it? They're not gonna card it. They're not gonna put it on the shelf by itself.
I think Hasbro kind of shot themselves in the foot by having three HasLab projects live at one time too.
I don't think that helped anything.
And I think they should be paying attention to what Kickstarters are going on too, because this is just on the heels of the RoboSkull Kickstarter. So, you know, I don't think that they see these guys are competition, but they are.
Well, here's the thing. When they started doing the HasLab stuff, they started it with the intention of doing things that were not going to get made otherwise.
Right.
The sail barge, $500 of it, was not going to happen selling anything to retail.
Right.
So the sail barge made a perfect offering for the initial HasLab stuff. The Transformers HasLab they did a few months ago with Star Saber or Victory Saber. He's not a character. He got a masterpiece release, but he wasn't gonna get a major retail release because he's an obscure he's a well-known character from the obscure Japanese language G1 era cartoons. The movie here for Transformers led into the final seasons of the G1 cartoon in America, but the movie, I don't think it's canon in the G1 mythos. and they had a whole additional like 4 cartoon series to like the Pretenders and the Headmasters and the Target Masters and all of that stuff. They all had arcs in the Japanese Transformers cartoon. Well, that's where Starsaber's from. He's from the Victory story arc, and Starsaber was the supreme commando of the Autobots at that point. And so he's an obscure character. He's good for a HasLab too, because he's not going to get a retail release. And if it hadn't funded, it was kind of like one of those, well, if you want Starsaber, here's your chance.
Same with that Unicron, which was one of their other HasLab projects.
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah. But again, yeah, another one, he's $400. He's not going to get a retail release. So if you want a Unicron that's going to be, that's going to take up half a bookshelf, well, do the HasLab. So, and Starsaber, I feel like was appropriate because you weren't going to get him otherwise. I don't think that's the case with the Rancor. I think the Rancor was a bad choice.
Yeah.
If they had decided to do a creature from the prequels or some other source, maybe the sequels, or maybe one of the TV shows, I think it would have been a better choice because those are, again, more things that would never have a chance at retail.
I think maybe a Blarg from the Mandalorian would have been interesting.
Yes, that would have been interesting. Or a Gundark, which you can see in the Clone Wars cartoon, which is referenced by Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back. Or something like something like the Arena Beasts from Attack of the Clones would have been in, because they're not going to get 6-inch releases otherwise. But I could see a HasLab for all 3 of them. I could see people going for that. But a Rancor,
I don't know. I don't have my pulse on that market anymore to see what people will and will not buy. And it kind of drives me crazy how people are so divisive these days on, like, they won't support it just because it's their line. I mean, they're Star Wars fans, but they absolutely will not support the line. And Hasbro's like, what do you guys want?
Well,
you keep bitching for this stuff. And, I can kind of, I don't say this very often, but I kind of feel Hasbro's pain on them. It's like, we put this out and, it doesn't, there's no interest in it. It's like, we're trying, I don't know what you guys want. And then you say you want this and here it is. And then there's not enough interest to get it made. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I have no interest in 6-inch Star Wars figures, and I mean the Rancor would be huge. I don't like Rancors, and I've got 2 of the.
I was gonna say, see, the thing
Force
is,
or the Force Unleashed ones.
Yeah, I see. That was a huge toy. I mean, that Rancor was huge.
Yeah.
Now you imagine a 6-inch Black Series scale one, what's even
Gotta
taller.
That size.
And I'm like, but really? I don't. But I feel like
It would be
all
bigger
the
than
creatures in
Alice.
Star Wars, he might have been the one that a retailer like Target could have done. Yeah, it would have been it would have been really expensive. But I feel like it's the one creature in Star Wars that's so well known that I don't think it was the right choice for a HasLab.
I think they had to go with something well known to sell it. I mean, I wouldn't, if I was in charge of picking it, I would not have gone with anything from the prequels. I probably would have tried the Blarg to see, garner some interest and say, we're thinking about this. What does everybody think about it before I, announced it? And then the one that did get funded very quickly, which also kind of surprised me, was at the same time was Egon Spengler's Proton Pack from Ghostbusters.
That didn't just get funded. They made like 5 times their goal on that one.
Yeah.
Like what was their initial thing? Like 7,800 or something backers, and it wound up like 25. Yeah. It was like 4 times the amount of
yeah, it was insane. And it was a $400 item.
Yeah. So So it tells me with the Rancor, it wasn't just the price that people were hung up about. It was the whole sort of lazy approach to it. Weird tiers. And the fact is, it didn't look that impressive when they showed the pictures. I'm like, I don't know. Is it $300 and is it $350 worth of? No, it's not. And I don't
know.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I don't have a yes or no answer to that question.
Nobody does. But and you'll never know because it didn't fund, so it's not happening. But I think 6 inches is just too big a scale for a creature of that size.
Creatures and vehicles. I mean, people, that was kind of some of the people were pissed. The few people that I saw that posted that were pissed that it didn't get funded, kind of the generalized reply from a few people was, do you remember the 6-inch scale TIE fighter and how poorly that did at retail and how insanely huge it was?
Yeah, there is a certain, I think, threshold for the size these toys can be before people are just like, what am I gonna do with that? Now, like they did a 6-inch scale Wampa, which it was taller. It was like 8 inches tall, but it wasn't insane. Because they did a do-back too for the stormtroopers to ride. And again, it was big, but it wasn't insane. It wasn't the size of a Power Wheels that a kid would drive around in. This Rancor is going to have to be
bigger than one of my dogs. They're probably bigger than all of my dogs.
Yeah, I feel like, because they did the Tauntaun, the Wampa, and
I didn't know they did Tauntaun. See, I don't follow the 6-inch stuff.
But again, yeah, they're big, but they're not insane. They're as big as they need to be. But it did look a little dubious there about the Sky Striker.
So
for a while there,
it's like would segue right into the one that did get funded almost down to the wire at the last minute. I mean, it was in the last hours when it got funded, and that is the G.I. Joe Sky Striker.
Well, because it funded that morning, because the funding, the HasLab closed on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. So by the time the morning of December 7th rolled around, it had funded, but the stretch goals were still a ways away. But in the last week of that, they announced some additional Cobra figures that were going to be added.
I think
the sticker sheet for the Cobras that were going to be added. And I don't think that made all the difference, but I think it helped.
Oh, I think it made a huge. Yeah, okay, I see your point, because usually there's a spike on the end of any of those kind of Kickstarter things, but I think the Cobra.
I think it did drive up interest, because I remember the day they announced that. I remember some people were saying, "Oh, you know what? Now I think I might back it because it's got some Cobras in there," and so that did drive up some of the donations. I mean, or some of the support, the backer. Yeah, that did drive up some of it. I do think the Rancor failing probably did help the Sky Striker, because there were plenty of people that probably wanted the Rancor more, but they kind of wanted both. And they probably said, well, I can't get my Rancor, so I'm going to get my Sky Striker.
Yeah.
But, and I know initially when it came up, I'm like, I don't know, Sky Striker, whatever. I don't do but of course I supported it, because you know what? I always make a big deal about, I'm going to support G.I. Joe, and I do. And I'm like, I can't not support it, even if
I was kind of on the fence about it myself. Everybody's like, I already have a vintage one. I have the 30th anniversary one, and the 30th anniversary one's just fine. Honestly, the 30th anniversary one is shit. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. It has one figure. It doesn't have ejection seats. It compared to the original one, it does not compare.
Well,
that being said, I have 2 vintage ones. One is like cherry because I restored it. The other one is about halfway complete. I just haven't gotten around to getting the parts I need to finish restoring it, but I will eventually. And then it will be beautiful at that point in time too. And then I have a bunch of the 30th anniversary ones, but mine are 2 of them are convention. So I have the Jetfire and the Starscream. So the Transformer crossovers, and then I've customized all the other ones, and you can see them hanging on the ceiling.
Yeah, and see, I have none of those. I never owned a vintage one. I don't have a 30th one. I didn't have a Sky Striker until that ugly silver and red repaint came out in that Toys R Us set. I lost the wings on that because I never cared that much about it, and I lost one of the wings, and one of them got real malformed, like it was in a drawer, and I pulled it out, and it must have gotten caught on something. So part of it was tipped. I'm like, wow, cool quality control there,
Yeah,
Hasbro.
the plastic was a lot softer on that. Which,
so
I mean, to some degree, it's good and it's bad because it's easily damaged that way, but it will not have the brittleness factor 30 years.
Yeah. So, but other than that one, which I never lingered on, it's still sitting in a bin where it's been for years downstairs. Cause I like a lot of things, I bought that set I bought it for the green. Well, it was the green Hiss tank, right? That it was the G.I. Joe. So I bought it for that. So the plane, but I've never had a Sky, so I've got nothing to compare it to. But I'm like, if I'm gonna get a Sky Striker ever in my life, that's actually a Sky Striker and not some weird Cobra repaint of it, well, this is the time to do it. And I'm like, well, of course I'm gonna put my support behind it. That was long before I realized that, and that was well before any of the stretch goals were unlocked. I had no idea because.
See, and even without the stretch goals, some people were complaining about the price. And then when you stop and think about it and break it down, it's going to come with 5 carded figures, which you figure those are about $20 a piece. So there's $100 right there. 2 mini vehicles. So you figure maybe $20 a piece on those. All the flame effects for all of the weapons and the engines, figure maybe $20 for a set of those. It comes with a really nice display stand. That's probably $20 to $40 because I've seen really nice display stands, custom display stands on eBay, and they go for about $20 to $40. So by the time you add all that up, your Sky Strikers, you're looking at like maybe $60 for the plane or less. And I think it's a fantastic deal. I mean, yes, it's all at one. It's a lot all at one time, but on top of that, they've redesigned a lot of the elements. So I mean, the wings and the landing gear are no longer tied together, that's the reason I backed it, because I had the Sky Striker as a kid. I got it for Christmas one year, or Christmas 83 or 84. 84 had to be 84. And I fucking loved that. But the minute I saw Top Gun and realized that the wings, that most of the time the plane flies with the wings swept out and the landing gear up, fucking ruined it for me as a kid. I'm like, God damn it, I can't fly this how it was intended. And I absolutely hated that. And they did the same thing with the 30th anniversary, and they've completely redesigned it so the landing gear and the wing sweep is different, disengaged. I'm like, sold right there.
The only plane I had for my vintage Joes was the Conquest. So I'm a Conquest kid, not a Sky Striker kid, but this one, yeah. Well, and all those figures, they're carding them. These are all new cards. Like, they're not just packing them in. Right. And it does help that they're putting the Cobras in there. And it does. And I'm getting my Night Force Ripcord, which is weird. I don't know why I was so hung up on that one, because I don't have any other Night Force figure. Yes, I do. I have a Night Force Crazy Legs that I got on eBay for a steal a few years ago. Nice. And Ripcord happens to be in the same color scheme, so that had to be intentional. But in the Hasbro stream that they did, I think the date of the HasLab closing or the day before the HasLab closing, I don't know, but they had Lenny Panzica from who's the head of the Hasbro team, and Emily, who is the head of the marketing for G.I. Joe. And they were let's see, there was an interview with, and somebody asked, well, if he's Night Force Ripcord, is he going to have a Night Force card? They said yes, he is. So he is going to have a Night Force specific card, and they're not using the original card art. they're not using the original card art for these guys because they're making them original packaging, all new art and all. I'm like, okay, cool. Should be interesting with Ace since he never had card art until the 25th release, and it wasn't accurate to the vintage. So it'll be interesting. And they did say that Lieutenant Wayne Ruthell will have a code name. Thank God, that was driving me crazy. So he will have a code name. So I mean, all in all, really, the $230 for it is really kind of a steal.
It really is. Plus, it had the 2 ejection seats. It had flames for that. So it seats 2 again, unlike the 30th anniversary ones. So the people that are comparing it to the 30th anniversary ones, I think all the people that are doing that have never had a vintage one in their hands to go, holy shit, this thing used to hold 2 figures. And that was huge for me as a kid because of that issue where Ripcord and Ace are flying over Cobra Island, and Ripcord bails out to go get Candy, his girlfriend. And I mean, I fucking love that issue. It's in that huge fight with Zartan. That was awesome.
Yeah, I've never been a Ripcord fan. I've never particularly had any opinion on him. There's something about this new figure.
He was one of my early figures. I loved that fucking card art. I loved that figure. I played with him endlessly when I was a kid. I loved that figure.
Yeah, I had no particular opinion on him, but there was something about this new one that just called me.
I still have a vintage one.
And then I mean, really, I was glad that the Sky Striker funded it, because here's the thing. If it hadn't, it did fund, and that's a big deal for G.I. Joe.
Yes.
Like, it does show that the fans will support a large-scale project. But had it not funded, it would have been disastrous for the property.
I think so. I think they would have said, well, you guys, these things are expensive, and we can't figure out what people want, because there's, as near as I can tell, it's kind of divided into like 3 main groups. You've got the people that are really into the O-ring figures still. You've got the people, I'll go 4 groups. You got the people that are very O-ring vintage style. You've got the people that are modern, and then you got the people doing classified. And then there's kind of the 4th group. You got the people that love all of it. And I would consider myself in the 4th group. I mean, I'm still buying vintage figures. I bought a handful of them today from my friend here in town, because I'm still trying to get all the specialty Vipers. I still have a shit ton of the modern stuff. I love a lot of the modern stuff. And I do buy some of the classified stuff. I will admit 6-inch scale is not my favorite, but some of the figures are fantastic, and I do like it.
Well, and me, I'll pretty much support G.I. Joe in any scale, in any style. I'm not limited on any of them. I mostly buy modern and customized modern now, but I went through a stage a few years ago where I was doing all O-ring customs, and
like for our first challenge, those were O-ring customs.
Yeah. So, and then I buy the 6-inch stuff. And I'm happy to show my support for G.I. Joe. I'm really happy that this funded. I'm even more happy that we got this, but it was huge.
Yeah.
So,
because if it hadn't funded, I don't know that they would do another HasLab project.
Not for G.I. Joe. No, I don't. If this hadn't funded, I really feel like Classified Joe would be the only Joe that there would be. That and Hasbro, on that interview that I was watching with Lenny and Emily, they did say that there's more O-ring stuff that they want to put out through Hasbro Pulse, but they wanted to see how this was going to do first, because they have all these ideas that they want to do. But I really think that they just wanted to make sure that there was still a market for it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So,
but then I forgot what I was going to say. God damn, I hate that. but yeah, no, I'm glad that it funded. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. People are complaining that either complaining or what they want to see next is a flag, and I don't see that happening.
It's never going to happen. It'll be $2,000 for a flag.
I think that's a conservative estimate. Honestly, I think for a 7.5, people want a 7.5 foot toy. There's no way Hasbro is just going to put out a remold of the original one. So there's going to have to be updates for them to even make it viable for most people. And so there's going to have to be a lot of new tooling done. And yeah, for a 7.5 foot long toy, and how much stuff costs nowadays, all the shipping, all the materials costs. Yeah, I don't see it going for less than $2,000.
There will never be.
Not everybody has room for that, and
No.
not everybody has $2,000 to drop on a toy.
There will never be a new Terrordrome, but there would be a new Terrordrome before there would ever be a flag. But neither of them have a snowball sheet, and maybe a Terrordrome is a $600 HasLab someday, maybe, possibly, but not otherwise. And a flag, come on, that's never going to happen ever.
There's just nobody, not everybody. I mean, I have the room for 2 of them, but I since I have one, I wouldn't back it, and I don't have the money to back it, even if they did, and they are going for $2,000. It would be cool, and I'd be sad, but I couldn't afford to back it at this point in time.
I don't have one. I don't need one. I don't want one. I wouldn't buy an old one, and I certainly wouldn't buy a new one.
You don't have the room.
No, but even if I did, there'd probably be other things I'd rather spend my money on. And I had a flag when I was a kid for a little while. I mean, it was huge. It was ridiculous. It was so big that when the Army transferred my dad, we couldn't move it. There was no way. There was no way, because it would have taken 3 boxes of its own to be packed up. It wasn't going to happen.
Right.
And it turns out that move may not have gone all that well for it anyways. If the couch and a couple of lost boxes were any indication, yeah, that I don't think most of the flag would have made it anyways, even if we had brought it. So it's probably just as well that we left it. And if I'm not mistaken, when we moved out of that apartment, I think it just got left in the apartment. So I'm gonna guess that whoever moved it in after that probably just liked the free flag.
Probably just threw it away.
I mean, maybe, but the only other HasLab thing that people keep saying, well, I want a classified thing. Well, so do I. They're like, they should do a HISS tank. I'm like, damn it. Yes, they should. No, I don't want to buy it, but yes, they should. Because I would buy it. Oh, speaking of HISS tanks, hang on a second.
See, I don't personally, as much as I do like some of the 6-inch stuff, I don't see myself backing a 6-inch vehicle HasLab project.
All right, here's how much of a nerd I am for HISS tanks. Know that little stupid micro set that I didn't see the point in?
Yeah.
And then I was at Walmart and I saw a HISS tank. I'm like, fine, I'll buy it.
HISS tank, BAMP 2, and Snowcat.
Yeah, but I'm like, fine, I'll buy it for the little micro HISS tank. Damn it. Always HISS tanks with that. I wouldn't have bought it had I not been walking by and seen it. I certainly didn't go looking for it.
I'm not that big of a HISS tank fan. I had the original when I was a kid. I played with it a lot. I never got the HISS 2, which I kind of regret because I like that style better. Nice. And then I absolutely love the Pursuit of Cobra. The Pursuit of Cobra HISS tank. And I have 2 of the Shockwave convention exclusive his tanks. But and then I still have a Pursuit of Cobra one that I tried to customize and just fucked it up. It's still sitting somewhere, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
I've got most major variations on the his tank and even a few minor variations. Really?
You have the Hiss 2?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one if I
Ripit likes his new RC his tank that he's got.
yeah, that's if I that's one of the vehicles that if I like came across for a decent price, I'd probably pick it up as a Hiss 2.
Yeah, I have one, but I bought it on eBay 10 years ago, so it's not like it's still. I don't have it from when I was a kid, but
No, I don't have any of my stuff from when I was a kid.
But anyways, this episode's running long, but I wanted to do an episode before Christmas. So hey, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll do an episode before New Year's, though, I'm sure. Talk to a few people that we could have on as guests, more customizers. So
yeah, and I'm trying to get in touch with the guy that runs Bad Mother Tattoos that does the water slide decals, because that's somebody we should have on the show.
Sweet. But all right, well, everybody, thanks for listening, and
please always do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.